Welcome back. Let's find out if we've got anything wrong so far. For that, we go to Mr. Mike Baker. Hey, Mike.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm doing fine, thanks. Tonight I'm using a new form of record keeping. So I've got a spiral binder that I keep my notes in. So if I look a little distracted, it's because it's the first time I'm actually test driving this type of system.
So you mugged a junior high school student on the way to Fox. Good for you.
yeah. And right inside it says "I heart Jonas Brothers." So apparently the mugging took place a couple of years ago.
No, that's clearly yours then.
So let's take a look at the halftime report card.
Okay.
We're going to a whole new system this week because on my tweets, people asked for something a little bit easier to understand. Now, the production team down here actually got the names wrong for tonight's show. And instead of Kevin Williamson, they had some dude named Adam listed in here. We've since replaced him with Kevin W. And I put an S next to Kevin Sorbo so that we would be able to differentiate between them.
That is smart, actually.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm doing what I can to help the viewers at home. So, Greg, you've actually showed very strong with a B. Remy, however, pulled an A off this whole first half experience by virtue of her comment during the first Gaddafi block in which she said it's like Mike Baker said. So there's really no way to disagree with Remy on that point. So she gets an A. B pluses for both Kevins.
Yeah.
Both W and S, because they've written books, and I think that's pretty impressive. And then Bill, oddly enough, opted for a pass-fail grading system. And so he did pass, but just barely, and he's going to require to do extra homework.
You explained everybody's grades but mine. You just said I got a B.
You got a B, yeah, which is good. Which is good. I mean, you should be happy with that.
I'm not.
There's room to improve. It gives you something to work for. I feel like I'm talking to my daughter.
Well, you know why?
Yeah, well, because you dress like my daughter?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
You make me do that.
Yeah, there you go. On tonight's Viewer Misery Index, as you'll see, actually, the pinnacle of misery for the viewers was the pregame show, which surprises all of us down here in the newsroom. And then we started to bottom out, so it's actually a good news for the first half and bodes well for the second half, obviously.
Wow.
This evening's sprocket values based on the Fenster curve. You can see essentially, and we're basing this, of course, off the exponential spread.
Duh.
Yeah, exactly. So we're scoring about a 90, which again, for typical sprocket values for the show is actually quite good.
Ah.
Yeah, thank you.
Something to think about.
Starting off with the Gaddafi story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me ask Kevin S.
Yeah.
I
know
viewers everywhere are fascinated with this split screen right now, aren't they?
We're checking it out.
It's like a before and after.
Yeah, it is. Let me ask you this, Kevin. Would you be interested in playing Gaddafi in a film?
It depends on, no, probably not. Probably not. It doesn't really interest me. The pock marks on the face, I'd rather have somebody else do that.
The whole thing. I mean,
Yeah,
even if the script was dynamic and...
It all depends. It all depends who's behind it. You know, there's certain studios that might want to go, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the reason I ask is because I'm currently writing a script.
So you're pitching me.
Who was that guy from...
Do you have financing and distribution? Then we can talk.
Who was that guy from Miami Vice that kind of looks like him, the one that played the...
Philip Michael Thomas?
Is that who I'm thinking of? The one with the sort of
Tubbs.
pockmarked face and all that?
He had 3 names. That's all I remember.
Yeah.
It's true. It's
Yes.
true.
Baker, what part of my hair are you not getting?
Yeah,
I
no,
am Gaddafi.
It's a good... Actually, you know what? That's true. Can we get a close-up of Bill's hair? Look at that. No, I think you're right. I think you're right. And then it all went downhill
That's
from there.
acting!
Yeah, and then it all went downhill, didn't it? Kevin W., you said that one of the shortcomings of Gaddafi was that he never actually got promoted past colonel.
Apparently not. I mean, he's
No.
still calling himself that when he died.
Well, he did, and honestly, he
Was he some
spent
sort of special colonel? Or?
Well, he spent about 40 years of his 42-year reign trying to distance himself from a leadership role. However, having said that, he also was awarded several titles, including King of Kings and Dean of Arab Rulers, which, Frank, I don't know about you, but that kind of beats the colonel title.
Well, you know, I don't really know my military rankings all the way, so I think King of Kings maybe outranks colonel, but I would have to check that with somebody authoritative.
Yeah. Typically, kings get scepters and crowns. Colonels do not.
Okay.
But you do get the shop at the basics change as a colonel, so that's good news. Going to OWS, the Occupy Wall Street, is it being overhyped? Yes. Moving on, we look at the Obama situation. You know, I'm really digging this binder. Did I point out the binder
Yeah,
that I got?
fantastic.
It's quite helpful. When we talk about reducing Ron Paul's plan, reducing the federal workforce by 10%, the current numbers for the federal workforce, not current, but 2010 ending, were about 4.4 million. So if you think about it, Ron Paul's plan would create at least 400,000 more unemployed.
But that's what you've got to accept when you talk about shrinking government. That's what happens, right?
Well, that's exactly what happens. You can cut your spending on programs, or you can cut your overheads and your staff costs.
But he's doing both. But the thing is, if you're a true libertarian or a conservative, you can't say that that's wrong, right?
No, I lost you on that. I wasn't paying attention.
Actually, I was thinking about puffins.
Hey, Remy, one quick question, Remy. You
Yes,
mentioned
Mike.
you mentioned hello. You mentioned that nobody was really interested, or I think Greg mentioned that nobody was really interested in the elections until the playoffs. And then you dropped in there with a note about, well, they would be if Chris Christie had jumped in. Do you honestly believe Chris Christie would have maintained that shiny image, or do you think he would have gone the way of Fred Thompson and all the others that pop in?
Chris
No?
Christie is no Fred Thompson, and that's no disrespect to Fred Thompson. I've known Chris Christie when he was the district attorney, or the U.S. attorney, I should say, in New Jersey for many, many years. He is an extraordinary person, and I think when he's ready to run, this country will get behind him, and they'll see that he's the real deal.
Okay, that's enough Chris Christie talk now. You know, he's not running.
You asked.
Yeah, but we get your drift. That's apparently all the time we've got. Greg?
Well, that was a fine job, Mike.
It was okay.
Can you put a side by side again with Mike and Sorbo?
Why are we doing
Originally, I
that?
said this was before and after. It's actually an after and before. I want to apologize to the viewers at home for confusing them.
You confused me.
I did.
I don't know where
But then
I
again,
am.
I went to public school, so
Yeah.
what do I know?
All right. You didn't have to knock the public schools, but if you want to, go ahead.
No, it's
All right.
awesome.
We'll get letters.
We'll get a lot of letters. Great. The funny thing is, they can't write.
Oh, no. There's no vowels.
There's no
it's
vowels. Yeah, that's
Letters
terrible.
in crayon.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Is it possible to build a mechanical evil twin meant to carry out the nefarious deeds that we don't have the stomach to do ourselves? Kevin discusses his plans for a robo-sorbo when we return.
I do?
No. Are high heels for men all the rage? We'll discuss the story we didn't get to earlier in the week and then forgot about it until today.